You are listening to Sherlock Holmes and the Clockwork Cipher. Chapter 6. The Consequence. It is a test. Holmes's words seemed to linger in the air long after he had spoken them. For a moment, none of us moved. Then, without warning, the watches upon the table began to shift. Not all at once, one, then another. A soft mechanical stirring filled the room, like a breath drawn by something unseen. Tick, tick, tick. The watchmaker stepped back suddenly. "They were not moving before," he said, his voice unsteady. "No," Holmes replied quietly. "They were waiting." Another watch sprang open with a sharp metallic snap. Then another. The room, once still and silent, was now alive with motion. Tiny gears turned. Hands advanced. The sound grew louder, faster, more insistent. Holmes moved quickly to the table, his eyes scanning the arrangement. "Watson," he said, "observe the sequence." I stepped beside him, my heart quickening. "They are not moving at random," I said. "Precisely." Holmes adjusted one of the watches slightly. "Each movement corresponds to a choice we have already made." The watchmaker shook his head. "That is impossible." Holmes did not look at him. "On the contrary," he said, "it is inevitable." Another sound echoed from deeper within the workshop. Not a click this time, but a heavier motion, a shift, as though something within the walls themselves had begun to move. I turned sharply. "Holmes, I hear it," he replied. A section of the far wall trembled slightly. Dust fell from the beams above. Then, slowly, deliberately, the wall began to slide, revealing a narrow passage beyond, dark, unlit, unknown. The watchmaker stared in disbelief. "That was not there before." "No," Holmes said, "it was." He turned toward the opening. We simply had not yet earned the right to see it. A cold sensation crept over me. "You mean the room is changing?" Holmes's expression was grave. "The room is responding." Behind us, another sharp sound rang out. One of the watches shattered suddenly, its glass face cracking outward. The watchmaker recoiled. "What does that mean?" Holmes glanced back briefly. "It means," he said, "that not all choices lead forward." The implication was not lost on me. "Then we could choose wrongly?" Holmes met my gaze. "Yes. And I suspect," he added quietly, "the consequences will not be mechanical." A faint sound echoed from within the newly revealed passage. Footsteps, slow, measured, approaching. The same man emerged once more from the darkness, his expression unchanged. "You see," he said calmly, "it has begun." Holmes stood his ground. "You intend to lead us through this?" The man tilted his head slightly. "No, Mr. Holmes. I intend for you to lead yourselves." He gestured toward the passage. "Every path is open. Every choice is yours. And every outcome," he paused, "is earned." Holmes took a step forward, his eyes fixed upon the darkened corridor. "Then we proceed," he said. The watchmaker hesitated. "But we do not know what lies ahead." Holmes allowed himself the faintest smile. "That," he said, "is the nature of all worthwhile pursuits." Another watch behind us snapped violently, its gears locking into place. The sound echoed like a warning, or a countdown. Holmes did not turn. "Come, Watson." His voice was calm, certain. I followed him without hesitation. The watchmaker lingered only a moment longer before joining us. As we stepped into the passage, the light from the workshop began to fade behind us. The darkness ahead seemed deeper than before, heavier, alive with unseen possibility, and somewhere within it. The faint ticking continued. Holmes's voice came softly from the shadows. "My dear Watson." I felt the weight of his words before he spoke them. "We must choose very carefully now. Thanks for watching." Tune in next time for another chapter of Sherlock Holmes and the Clockwork Cipher. If you're enjoying these stories, a like, a comment, or a subscription truly helps. And if you'd like to support the work, you can buy me a coffee. It would be greatly appreciated.